स्मरता नित्यगरी
राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री 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 राम जय राम जय जय राम
स्मरता नित्यगरी करुणाकर वरदायक हरिजो करुणाकर वरदायक हरिजो करुणाकर वरदायक हरिजो.
Indian culture, you give namaskar. It's a sublime, profound teaching, recognizing the equality in everybody. There is a higher dimension when doing this. In shaking hands, of course, social. How are you? When you say, the moment you take the telephone, how are you? You don't mean. Nobody will be able to say, I am happy. But if you want them to say they are happy, everything is okay. That's all. Like the cook inside you is crazy, but cannot call anyone to lunch or dinner. I cannot say anything about this. On every Monday, the heart longs for the office, but the weekend does not seem to end. But we have heard many. When is the Saturday going to come? In hectic life, everybody will crave. When we are now sitting, we may say this. But the same mind will say, when am I going to have holidays? When am I going to have the weekends? Those who have money have no way to spend it. You will be caring for the rainy days. We also know that when we have money, it becomes a desire-based life, not a need-based life. Because consumerism is up and up at every time. Now for the past 1 month, we don't go out. What is basically needed for us, that we try to get it. And everybody is leading happily. And those who don't have money have no way to earn it. Plenty of ways are there. We can spend our time. Nowadays you will be wondering, everybody will be concentrating on kitchen garden in their own terrace, wherever there is not a space. Wherever there is space, they are concentrated upon it. They are very careful in spending and utilizing their water. So many things. Electricity. Previously they were in a hurry, they were not working. Now it's not like that. Everything is a contented life. simplified life, uncomplicated life. So it is the mind that defines. So first we will go through Papa's, before we are reading Papa's, there's a beautiful article by Swami Chidanji Maharaj. Mind your greatest friend. So mind should not be looked down upon. Radiant immortal Atman, beloved sadhaks and seekers upon the path that leads to liberation and bliss. You are the few, you are the rare, you are the unique that have chosen a spiritual way of life. Other aspects of your life, physical, mental, psychological, social, professional, have become secondary to you. Something you suffer or tolerate because they are inevitable. Your uniqueness is that you are trying to think out ways and means of making all the other aspects of your life supportive to spiritual life that you have chosen for yourself, not obstacles to it. You are pondering these questions and are struggling to convert your personal life, professional life, social life in relation to others into a supplementary and complementary process to your overall spiritual life. In this process, more precious than gold or silver or diamond, more precious than any wealth, your greatest wealth, greatest asset, greatest power, greatest friend, greatest helper is your mind. Chidanji Maharaj will never be satisfied with one adjective. The idea is it should be imprinted, When it is hammered, it gets imprinted. How many words he has used? In this process, more precious than gold or silver or diamonds, more precious than any wealth, your greatest wealth, greatest asset, greatest power, greatest friend, greatest helper is your mind. In your mind, you have an ally. In your mind, you have an ever-ready friend, 24 hours of the day and night. Even when you are alone, abandoned, helpless, you are in dire distress, in a dangerous predicament, ever ready at hand is your mind to help you, to guide you, to show you ways and means to overcome. Do not underestimate the value of your mind. It is your precious friend. It is your great well-wisher. It is an invaluable helper. It's a source of all good. Know it as such, treat it as such, utilize it as such. Then you will be wise, then you will rejoice. It is not always right to denigrate the mind, to think of it as your enemy. You can make it your enemy. You can make it your greatest liability if you are foolish, if you are thoughtless, if you are not wise, if you have failed to grasp this important implication of the scriptures and the teachings of great teachers, then you will always be struggling with your mind. You will be lamenting in your mind, I want to be very good, but my mind is very bad to me. It is not allowing me to do good. I am really a good person, but mind is dragging me down. Mind is doing this, mind is doing that. It is not so. On the contrary, you do not give a chance to your mind. You are very unkind to your mind. You do not
तुझी निरंतर उद्धव चरणी तुझी उद्धव चरणी अमृत पान करी अमृत पान करी
You are committing sins of commission and even greater number of sins of omission toward the mind. Mind is Parashakti. Mind is God's gift to the individual soul. Mind can grant you liberation. There is nothing in the whole world that is so constantly at your beck and call, so constantly ever ready, ever present to do your bidding and to help you. The whole career of a surgeon may depend upon the condition of his surgical instruments. The whole career of a master painter is in his brushes and his colors. The life of a soldier depends upon the condition of his rifle. Have you considered how carefully they look after and care for that upon which their entire life depends, their entire career depends? Dancers will insure their legs for millions of dollars. Master pianists will insure their finger for millions of dollars. They care for, guard carefully that which they depend upon, and it in turn is good to them, helps them, gives them everything they want. There protect it, take care of it, treat it with kindness. Its enemies are Rajoguna and Tamoguna. Its enemies are temptations in the form of outer attractions and the inveterate habitual tendencies of the senses towards sense objects. Its enemies lie in the lower self, lust, anger, greed. Therefore, guard your mind from the lower self, from these dark negative tendencies, from bad company, from idleness, and from the assailment of old samskaras. Keep it occupied. Keep it positive. Take it into good company. Try to keep it in an elevated state. Do not allow the lower mind to drag it down. Be your own best friend. Be the best friend of your mind. Befriend it. Then what will it not do for you? There is nothing that it will not do for you. It will do everything that you want. It depends upon your way of dealing with it, your recognition of its preciousness, its true place in your life, its great significance, its meaning for your liberation, for your highest good. Be good to your mind. Do justice to it. Do not always throw stones. Make it a scapegoat. Therefore, realize that it is God who has given you your mind, and therefore you are a human being. Otherwise you would be an animal. And when God had made you a man with a mind, be really a human being. Think deeply, then you will realize what the mind is to you. It is to be utilized, channeled, to be educated, strengthened, supported in everything. You must nurture it, make it your greatest asset. This requires clear perception, wisdom, active effort. It is laziness that ruins the mind. Take pains, be willing to take the trouble. You will not regret it. It will repay you 1,000-fold. Ponder well the inner situation of yours. Ponder well this fact, how great a thing the mind is, how much you owe to it. Look back to our own life, How many times it has saved us? Even now we are hearing the words of these masters. Who is behind it? Because the sense organs, mind plays through sense organs. Papa used to say in one of his quotations, mind sees through the eyes, hears through the ears, smells through the nose, eats through the mouth. If the mind is not there, we will not be seeing, Eyes will be open. Somebody will say, I am calling you, you are not looking at me. We don't hear, the mind is somewhere.
अद्भुत वचने श्रवणे मनने अद्भुत वचने फल तो प्राय तो काल भूमि नित्य गरी मगती माया.
Then suddenly you will come to know, yes, but for that mind, I have been able to think in terms of a higher life, think in terms of the inspiring life and mission of great saints like Papa Mataji. How do we know? Now, for example, when this question was raised, at about 3:20 somebody gave this. Immediately, the mind picks up where it has. Not only this, one more article is there. A positive mind, your greatest asset. How the mind helps us to locate this? Radiant immortal Atman, beloved sadhaks and seekers, we have been discussing the wisdom of positivism in our mental state as opposed to the folly of negativism. Because the mental state is the ultimate deciding factor, and the antakarana of the mind and intellect, the ultimate deciding ground, where your life and the ultimate outcome of your life, its fruition or its frustration, outward things has to be worked out. Outward things are nothing. Outward things are a creation of your inward state. And all our outward things become nullified or overcome if your inward state is of that nature, where it gathers within itself and activates its potentials and begins to become a conquering instrument. Suppose there is a beautiful song set to a beautiful tune, and your friend knows we like that, and he calls us. But suppose our mind is getting prioritized on something else. What we will say? I will hear it later. No? I have no time for it. Think. Positivism is there, but every time we have to be alert. Let us see what Swamiji says. In your interior state becomes like Arjuna. Nashto moha smritirlabdha tva prasadad mayachyuta stitosmi gata sandeha karishye vachanam tava. In the 18th chapter, after hearing the whole discourse, when Lord Krishna gives him total freedom, Yadechadi tata guru. Whatever you feel, you do that. But after hearing all these things, Arjuna says these words. Nashto moha smritirlabdha tvat prasadat mayachyuta stitosmi gata sandeha karishye vachanam tava. Destroyed is my illusion as I have gained my memory, knowledge through thy grace, O Krishna. I am firm, my doubts are gone. I will according to thy word. Karishye vachanam. If this type of robust dynamism comes to prevail in your mind, then there is no power on earth that can stand in the way of you taking your life to its ultimate pinnacle point of perfection and total fruition. This is the simple point of, this is the simple truth. And if Napoleon declared that there was no word impossible in his type of dictionary, he declared a fact. He declared the simple truth. We are constantly being faced with a new situation, new circumstances. If such a situation is seen, to draw attention to that situation is necessary, otherwise it cannot be corrected. And to focus our mind on that situation is also perhaps necessary because it sets us thinking. But to lament the situation is incorrect. I would disagree with the wisdom of it, the logic of it, the rationality of it. It is irrational, it is non-productive, it is negative, for it affects all hearers. Not only that, the very purpose of drawing attention to a specific situation is nullified because to lament that situation demonstrates a basic and essential lack of faith in oneself, which is not Vedanta. We can see the plus and minus points. Today we heard Israel has brought about a vaccine. So many people have been trying. Coronavirus is not a new thing. The other day when we went to the Chambers Dictionary, we saw coronavirus is already there. It is not a new thing. There is a word coronavirus in our dictionary. Somebody told us that the question of eradicating once and for all will not be there. Just like we have got cold, sneezing, all these things. This will also be there once in a while.
Part of our life.
Part of our life. And we take medicine. In today's Express newspaper, the son of an ashram worker who was reported to have caught this positive, in the result. And that is why so many developments took place after that. Today he is also cleared. The latest test revealed he is also negative now. He was positive, negative now. So what does it mean? So where there is a beginning, there is an end now. So one doesn't have to feel depressed, dejected, dispirited for certain reasons, for making us to think inward, to put a stop to certain tendencies in the minds of the people, in the minds of society, in the minds of nations. God in His own way has brought about a unique feature called coronavirus. We have to be alert, we have to be creative, we have to be vigilant. So He is prompting through the authorities concerned. By giving us so many restrictions, we can call it as limiting us. Somebody says all our individual freedom has been suspended. Yeah. But everybody takes it not in that sense. Everybody can understand why these restrictions have been there. The moment it is out, we are not disciplined in that way. We will all rush up. We will not follow this thing. Again, we may be subjected to go through a severe restriction. So in order to learn all these, we have to, otherwise we may learn it from books. Now this is a practical, demonstrated lesson. This generation will definitely remember this. There are so many advantages, disadvantages. Everything has gone. So we are not to lament. To lament.
अमृत पान करी अमृत पान करी
Call for these reserves and do the needful in the situation. That is the attitude. When the vehicle moves, the tire is constantly on the friction. Progress comes only after friction. Pain precedes deliverance. These are the natural laws, Everything we have learned today, not because, we all became omniscient from the moment we were born, no. Trial and error method, challenges, So many things. We go back to our own life. And who was our friend? The positive mind. Every time it is the assurance that comes from our elders, from our scriptures, from our education, from our knowledge. We have learned, yes, nothing is impossible. Positive mind. That is our greatest asset. The stuff of each individual is measured by one's response to the challenge. The attitude which ultimately made Arjuna say, I am standing up, I have got my bow in my hand, I am ready to fight, is inherent in all healthy individuals. If you put a riddle before a group of children, they become excited and eager to solve it. They will not leave it until they get an answer. Many of you might be enjoying Sudoku, no? It's a challenge. How the entire, there is a concentrated, focused attention on it. The mind is trying to bring out the various possibilities. Even if we fail, I don't think anybody will leave it. Perseverance. It teaches perseverance is the keynote for success. Patience, one-pointedness, steadfastness, commitment. So many things it teaches us. They will not leave it until they get an answer. You drag the bleating lamb to the water and ask it to look at its reflection. Not for it to continue to bleat like a lamb, but rather for it to roar like a lion. It really is. That is the thing needful. There is no other way for a real human being who is made in the image of God, who is divinity awaiting to be liberated, awaiting to break forth from the shackles that bind one's infinity and eternity. So we are not what we assume ourselves to be. Who says? The positive aspect of our mind. When the Guru says, when the teacher says that you are not what you assume yourself to be, who is helping us to know this? Who is helping us to progress on this? Our positive mind. That is real Vedanta. And anything other than that is to be rejected as not being part of classical Vedanta. It is to be summarily rejected. It should not be given a place for even 1 second. Because we are talking about the need, the importance, the wisdom, the indispensable necessity of having a positive, creative, constructive attitude and approach of the mind. That is the key. That is the only thing needful. Everything will be overcome by it. Everything will be provided by it. Whether you are a Bhakta or a Vedanta. This indeed should be our state of mind. For that only has mind been given. Mind has been given to us in order to conquer everything. Conquer Maya. And therefore the Upanishads have no doubt about it. What was the strength of mind of Nachiketas? What was the strength of mind of Markandeya, of Savitri, of Bhagirath, of Meera? What was the strength of mind of all those great ones who achieved anything whatsoever? What was the strength of mind, Prince of Siddhartha, Buddha? He proved to us that such a state of mind is the one thing desirable, the one thing necessary, the one thing that shows the wisdom within you to overcome everything. Each one has this potential. Mind, therefore, is your greatest asset, your greatest wealth. By some aberration, by some mistake, it has been rather regarded as a problem. It has not been properly understood. You may even consider it to be your greatest problem. If so, you have to convert it into an asset. Because it is an asset. It has not been given to you to be a problem. But on the contrary, it has been given to you to be utilized as the greatest thing that has ever been given to a being, for it throws wide open the portals to liberation and perfection. Mind is the one great endowment of the universal soul to the individual being. Mind is the endowment. What a beautiful word. Mind is the endowment that makes man God. We all set up endowments, perennial. May you use it in a wise and positive way to become blessed. When we go back to our own life, when we view our life in retrospect, we will find, it's a fact, it's a fact, it's a fact. All of us would have been subjected to go through certain periods of depression. Who brought us back? After some time, that's why God, He describes, He is also the forgetfulness. Apohana. Because if suppose I become depressed, the whole life I become depressed, then how do I progress? Nowadays you say, they are counseling people, consultants, so many words they use. What do they give? The positive side of it. If you are not in a position to analyze yourself, they try to dig out what exactly is troubling you and that make you happy. They are not giving anything new. They try to help you to locate that which is blocking your potentiality, that which is blocking your positivism, that which is blocking your optimistic outlook. And when that is removed, you are back again. You are a successful person. You are a calm and quiet person, fulfilled person. Who helps? Mind alone. So we can, as Swamiji said, we can call it as two types of mind, the lower mind and the higher mind. While the lower mind, Papa used to say, there is a tug of war, The tug of war will be going on inside, a conflict. So all our spiritual disciplines and our reverential remembrance of the masters, life and teachings, how they got rid of it. They proved to be an incentive, a boost to get over our moods of depression, moods of such negative tendencies, and helps us to recharge, to make us productive, to make us happy, cheerful, enthusiastic. And one more article.
ನಿತ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಗದಿ ಮಾಯಾ
was left alone with her sons, had to go to the forest. She felt utterly miserable and commenced taking Krishna's name constantly with full faith and devotion. She then went into raptures and forgot all her sufferings. Repetition of Krishna's name enabled her to bear her misery patiently. Through the power of the name, it was transformed into joy. Bhagavan was very pleased with her devotion, gave her darshan, asked her to demand a boon from him. Do you know what boon she asked? She prayed for difficulties. Why do you ask for difficulties? The Lord asked. She replied, in difficulties, O Lord, I remember. I remember thee only in difficulties. Sufferings are now no sufferings for me. For a man who is continuously remembering God, there is no suffering. The suffering becomes a means for a man to pass into the higher consciousness in which he declares, I am not affected by suffering at all. Let us take the well-known instance Mahatma Gandhi was in jail. Along with him, there were some criminals. They were naturally morose and unhappy. Mahatma Gandhi was always smiling. This shows that it is not the environment that is responsible for our misery, but the attitude of our mind towards external conditions. The external conditions are for both the criminals and the Mahatma were the same, but the attitude of the mind of the Mahatma was different from that of the others. If you are in tune with the Almighty, come what may, whether good or evil, fortune or misfortune, you will remain perfectly happy. The devotee says, I can be happy even in a hell by converting it into heaven by my joy. So mind in its own place can make a hell of heaven and a heaven of hell. So we are makers of our own hell and heaven. We ought to take everything that happens to us as for our best. Everything is determined by the Almighty Power, who is all love, all mercy, all kindness. We take things in wrong light and thus bring misery on ourselves. Continuous remembrance of God will give us the right attitude of the mind to our external life. Question. Suppose there is a man whose only son is drowned in a river. You will say God does for the best? Will you always apply this formula? Answer. There is no other way but to reconcile ourselves to the will of God. We will have to understand that what was perishable was perished. The attachment is a cause for sorrow. When a bereaved man understands this, he will seek a way by which he can free himself from attachment. One must find a criterion for one's life by which one can remain impervious to these external things. God rules over everything by being in tune with Him. We rise beyond these pairs of opposites. By a continuous and incessant remembrance of God, our faith in Him will increase. It is an established truth that whatever God does is for the best. Pain is necessary to make us realize that there is such a thing as joy. If we are not conscious of pain, how can we strive for joy? Thus it is that consciousness of slavery leads us to freedom. So also through sufferings. So through suffering it is that we come to experience joy. All this is necessary. So when we look back to our own life, we find there is nothing to grumble. There is nothing to complain. So whenever we fall into this grumbling and complaint, which is normal, immediately we should be able to pull it up. That can come only when we think about Him, the inner director. And that can be nurtured and nourished through bhakti. Yesterday we were talking about bhakti, devotion. Me, the sense of individuality, the worshipper, He, the Lord seated within and without, and rest of the things are articles of worship. If this is getting more and more, stamped in our heart, outer circumstances will not affect us much, because we will try to find out. Our submission to His will be there, I am unable to accept this situation, though I know that it is for my best. Kindly enlighten me. What is good for me from this to learn? Then suddenly we see the positive side of it. It is a long drawn reflective process. It cannot come all of a sudden. The best teacher is our own experience. We look back, we find, and we also look at any person who is successful in his field. He had what is called self-confidence. He knows the potentiality is there. So he is trying to dig out that potentiality. He is confident it is there. God has given him, When God gives a prompting to inquire, to plumb deep, to investigate, to analyze, to do research, he will know intuitively. Otherwise, why should he take it up? That which was impossible is made possible Agreed, it is a long years of struggle. It's an uphill task, no doubt. But we have seen, we have heard, we have experienced that all these things have become a reality. So let us not condemn, as Swami Chidanji Maharaj said. Let us consider our mind as an asset. It's a positive asset, never as a liability. If at all, whenever we feel it is a liability, we have to convert it into an asset because it is an asset. That word is so beautiful. When due to habituation, due to our cravings, due to our infatuation, due to our attachments, we might lose the balance to mind. But in the shortest possible time, you will see that it is picked up. Self-control. Everywhere, we have seen that. Suppose we fail in one exam. Next time, we try to put in all our energy. And to offsetting, where from it the word came? To offset the loss. What do? We try to bring out the inherent, latent potentiality. So mind is an asset. Mind can convert, both it can. The lower mind can convert the heaven into a hell. The higher mind can convert the hell into a heaven. So let us all thank Him profusely for having given us a wonderful opportunity to know the asset which has been with us. My truest friend, who is available to me at my beck and call all the 24 hours. What all it does, if we just sit, close our eyes, and its machinations, if you just go through that, what sort of file it is maintaining. If today you are in a position to write or speak, the conjugation of verb which was laid down in you decades back guides you even without your knowledge. Just imagine when you do the cycling, you remember the cycling and how the cycling initially, how many times you failed, you fell down, you had bruises, and then when you had the balance, it ever stays with you. Because of your perseverance then, because of your commitment then, mind helped you to achieve this. Like that you start listing, how God has been grateful, how we are grateful to God for having given us the greatest asset, this positive asset, our truest friend, who is available to us throughout. So let us be grateful to Him. Let us make use of that greatest gift as a powerful tool for moving from me to we to Him, from the individual to universal, from the micro to macro. Today, how Papa facilitated through one of our friends to raise this word, and what all thoughts he has now made us to hear, what all thoughts he has made to dwell upon. This itself shows, how the Lord has been gracious enough towards us, how He wants us to make us aware of the greatest asset, about which we are not aware of. We know the mind is there, no doubt, but we never knew that it was the greatest asset. But today, through one of our friends, this suggestion was brought, and he made us to get in touch with the teachings of great Mahatmas, and now intellectually we are equipped with all these plus points. Then when we connect it with our own individual life, we get fully convinced that it is not mere words, it is the truth, it is a fact, it is a reality. Let us all make use of it for our onward progress in spirituality.
स्मरता नित्यगरी